Welcome back to the Pointless Podcast with Carter and Ethan.
Yeah, welcome back.
So, this is going to be a little bit of a different episode. Not necessarily, well, it'll be different, but I think this is how we want to go from now on. What we did the other day was, if you follow us on Instagram, we asked you guys to, or we asked anyone who's following us, to send us questions and topics and things. So we're going to be talking about those and answering those. But before we get into that, I wrote two things down in our document just because they were kind of like interesting things to talk about. The first one's kind of like not necessarily like a funny thing, it's just kind of an interesting thing. The second one is an absolutely terrifying thing, and it's so absolutely, yeah. Anyways, so first thing on here is insect protein stuff. I have an article open. I was reading a thing.
Okay,
before.
you have a whole article loaded up here, right?
Yeah, it's been open since like yesterday. So I remember reading like last year about how it was probably for like an English exam or something. There were some articles about it, but like how they're trying to like implement insects as like something that more people eat because there's so much higher in protein. And like I've talked to so many people about it, and everyone's always like grossed out about it.
But when you have to eat like 1 billion insects for like it to like amount to.
But yes and no, but because the thing is here, I'll see if I can find it. But basically, like crickets and stuff, or here, like 100 gallons of water creates 6 grams of beef protein, 18 grams of chicken protein, and 238 grams of cricket protein.
Fuck.
They're super, like the concentration of protein in them.
But you'd have to
so much
eat like
higher.
a handful of crickets.
Is that a problem?
I mean, I think
I've eaten insects before.
If I'm not mistaken,
I've eaten like mealworms.
If I'm not mistaken, I've eaten crickets for like candied cricket, like chocolate crickets from like a candy store.
Well, that's the thing.
That's all.
They can make them like they're not gonna just taste like. They're also making like cricket flour to make like protein bars and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So like it's like making it into like normal things. It's just using insects instead of like cows.
But would you rather eat insects than like?
Well, I would be down because the thing is a third of the world's land is already used for animals,
Do you hear about this
farming
thing?
animals. So
speaking of farming and stuff, in China, I was reading this thing. They have they're making a pork farm that is gonna produce pork at such a rate that in China and soon, if it's adapted all over the world, it'll be cheaper than soy sauce.
Really?
Yeah. Like it's like bacon will be just like random. Like you could just find bacon anywhere. Like
oh wow, that's crazy.
Like you'll be able to find bacon at like a 7-Eleven because it'll be so cheap. Like real bacon, not like fake shit.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
that's cool. But yeah, so like I'm thinking like I'm very down with, and it's sort of like a taboo thing like now. But there's so already like I think I was reading this article. I think it says like here 80% of the world's population already eats bugs. It's just more Westerners that are like so like weird about it, but it's like slowly becoming more of like a not so taboo thing. But here it was saying a family of 4 eating food made with crickets for just once a week for a year would save 650,000 liters of water.
that's kind of crazy.
So I'm down to eat some crickets and stuff instead of like other animals because it's so much easier to farm insects than it is to. Like I was saying, a third of the world's land is used for livestock.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't know about you guys. Lots of people are saying it's gross and they wouldn't eat insects. I'm down for it. So I just wanted to bring that up because it's kind of interesting that, like, that's something that could become more normal in the future.
Yeah, I don't know how down I'd be for eating insects, but I feel like I'd try it.
Watch it. Keep it on that. Okay, so that's that, I think. That's kind of all I wanted to touch on. Just an interesting little fun thing. Secondly, before we get into the questions and topics that people suggested to us on Instagram, recently, in the last few days, a trailer for the musical Cats was released. I'm sure most of you have seen it by now. It's kind of made its way around the internet. Basically, the musical Cats, which is, from what I know, which I don't know much, I think it's kind of a very like well-known.
It's one of the most popular musicals.
Yeah, it's like a very popular musical, right? So like people love it. However, they've made a movie that's coming out. I don't know when, but the trailer just came out, and the CGI
is awful.
It's absolutely terrifying. It's nightmare fuel.
I haven't actually seen the trailer, but Carter showed me just like who's in it and stuff, and there's some big names.
They've
in
got
that
they've
movie.
got Gandalf and Taylor Swift.
Idris Elba, Jason Derulo. It was like I don't know. It's odd, very weird to me.
Like I think like the talent in it is awesome. There's so many big names in it, right? But the way that they chose to portray it with the CGI, the cats. They're like it's like a live action movie, but they made the cat. They're
He
like
kind of looks like the live action Sonic. They all kind of look.
like
Yeah.
terrifying. Yeah, I would prefer the live action, the first version of Sonic.
Do you think the Sonic movie is gonna be successful at all?
No, only
yeah.
now it will be because of all the
Memes.
memes.
Yeah.
People will go see it for the memes. So yes, it'll be a box
Like
office.
I
success.
saw the emoji.
I don't
movie
know
for
if
the
it'll
meme.
be well exactly. See,
saw the
so I
emoji
feel like it might be
movie.
like that. Now I could be wrong. It could be a critically acclaimed
Sonic
movie masterpiece.
Wins a
But-
Oscar.
It could win an Oscar. I feel like Jim Carrey is going to win an Oscar for the Sonic movie.
He actually not gonna lie. I'm hyped that Jim
I
Carrey's
like
in it.
Jim Carrey. I like
Yeah.
Jim Carrey. Anyways,
One of my favorite movies is Jim Carrey. Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Cat in the Hat,
No, not Cat in the Hat. That movie scares me.
and that's not
as a
Jim
kid.
Carrey. That's
Who is that?
Michael Myers. It's.
Oh,
I
really?
was thinking The Grinch is Jim Carrey.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oops.
The Grinch.
Speaking of
I
cats,
like the live action Grinch movie.
the Grinch. Yeah, that's a good movie. Anyways, the cats. Go watch the trailer if you haven't seen it already. They look very like their noses are human noses because it's just like cats. Like it's like if you took a picture of a cat and a picture of a human and like superimposed
Yeah,
them.
like it's like a face swap almost. He
Yeah,
just stuck his
and it's
face
just
on
terrifying. So if you haven't seen it, go look at it. I think the movie without the cat CGI would be good because it's
Just
like
stick
a,
a cat.
it's like a
Just stick some cat face paint on it, like they do in the musical, and it'll be fine. Carter, what are your thoughts on musicals? Do you like musicals? Did you actually know anything about musicals?
I haven't watched a lot of. I honestly haven't watched any music.
I went through a giant musical phase last year, and like that's all I listened to for a solid like a month. There's some people that like stand by some musicals, and also when I was on Musical.ly,
You just outed yourself.
yeah, I know. But when I was on Musical.ly, that's all people would like talk about, like
Yeah.
cartoons and musicals.
Yeah.
Bunch of cool kids being like, "Oh, I love Dear Evan Hansen."
All my
Ooh."
friends love Dear Evan Hansen.
Okay, Dear Evan Hansen is
They go,
great. I can't
I
even make fun
haven't-
of it. I can't even make fun of it.
I know. I need to watch more musicals. Everyone talks about all these musicals, and I don't watch any. I honestly don't watch a lot of theater, in general. Like I'm more of a film guy.
Yeah, I don't really like a lot of theater.
It's because I don't do a lot of theater. I only really started enjoying theater when I did Peter Pan, kinda, which was the play that I did. I think I talked about it a
we
little
did
bit
talk
in the
about
first episode, but it was the like comedy Peter Pan that we did for our grade 12 production this past year. So that's when I really started enjoying theater, is when we did that play, and I kind of like found like a new love for theater. But other than that, I'm definitely more of a film guy.
Yeah, I haven't really even seen. I remember I saw. What was it? I saw a couple of musicals when they come. Like I see musicals when they roll through here, and actually, sometimes I wish some of these musicals that I see would get way more recognition because some of them are so good, but they're like just these small productions, but no one will ever hear them. But they're so good, even compared to like Broadway shows. They're
Yeah.
really good. Like they feel like off Broadway or Broadway shows.
Right.
Like, so I mean, all shows take so much work. When I did Peter Pan, I did a Peter Pan play in grade 6. When I did that, it was like 2 months of work, just for,
Right.
and we did like I don't know, like 90 shows or something insane like
oh my
that.
God, what?
Yeah, because we had like double extension or something.
Jesus.
Yeah, so but it was really fun because I
Huh.
got to work with Fred Penner, so that's great.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I love
That's
Fred
right.
Penner.
Um,
Oh,
let's go
okay. Wait, we're gonna take a 2-second break before we start the questions. So we'll be right back.
Welcome back. It actually wasn't a break for you; it was a break for us, but it'll be a seamless transition for you. Anyways, now we're gonna get into the questions because I only had 2 pre-talking things. I don't know what I just said. Okay, so I asked questions on Instagram. I asked for questions and or
Topics.
topics to talk about. Talk about kazoos. It's because of not gonna happen. Minecraft is so trash. I beg to differ.
I would also beg to differ.
Minecraft is becoming increasingly more popular once again.
Minecraft has gotten so much better. Minecraft was my whole childhood. I
Me
remember,
too.
like, I still get texts from my friend. He's like, oh, I miss the good old days of playing, like, factions all day. And
Yep.
I'm like, it's true. I don't know. Minecraft just it like defines our generation. Basically.
That's true. It does.
I don't know how a block game can define our generation, but it does.
I don't. Yeah. So, you're lying when you say Minecraft is so trash. What made you want to start a podcast? This was touched on as like the first ever thing that we talked about in the first episode of the podcast, but we'll touch on it again in case you missed it. I think what we had said was that everything is podcast nowadays.
Everyone does podcast, and also when me and Car talk, it kind of sounds like a podcast.
Like when we have conversation, we were like, if we recorded this, like this would be kind of a good podcast because we would talk about like just random stuff, and we're like, hey, it's like kind of podcasty, so we should like do that. And we like joked about it, and then literally like less than 24 hours later, I was at his house in his studio.
Yeah, I think the next day you came
literally,
over.
like we made a joke about it, and we were like, haha, what if we like did a podcast? That'd be so funny. And then we were like, wait. Like, should we?
I'm like, I have all the equipment, just like.
And we were like, maybe it's not a joke anymore. So then, like, literally the next day, I was over at his house in his studio here, and we filmed the first episode. Yeah. Most embarrassing moments.
Oh.
I should have thought of this beforehand because I don't know if I might have to come back to it. I don't know if I can think of my most embarrassing.
I'll think of something really fast, and then you can think. Here's one that's not really embarrassing, but whenever someone asks me that, I used to say this one. This one isn't really embarrassing, but just a funny story. It was preschool. Every day after preschool, we used to play soccer, all right? Mm-hmm. And I remember one day, mind you, I was really good at soccer at one point, just not here. We were playing soccer, and then young Ethan decided to... he was just playing soccer, and then he got the ball for the first time. It was my first time playing soccer, and I just jumped on the ball and, like, wrapped around it, and then just sat there and, like, almost cried because a kid almost kicked me. And that was, like, this is, like, not even embarrassing. I just find this very confusing to me because I'm, like, I think back, and I'm, like, what? Like, how do you think to do that? Because I was watching them play soccer, too.
I did that in a hockey game.
You did that? You jumped on the puck?
I laid on the ground and put my arms around the puck.
No one could get it.
Stop.
No one could get it then.
I was like so little.
No one could get it.
I can't think of an embarrassing moment. It's gonna come to me, but I'm gonna.
I mean, it was pretty embarrassing when I broke my wrist in flag football practice. Oof. Yeah, because I was. It was like I think it was one of the first practices of the season. I think it was the second or first practice of the season. And my friend threw me like a long one, and I'm sprinting like full speed. And then I kind of went over a hill, and then there was a dip right away, and I didn't notice. So then I fall, and I fell like, well, you can't see if you're listening on audio, but I fell like with my hand kind of like palm out to kind of stop my fall, which you're not supposed to do because you break your wrist. And then I broke my wrist because I stopped. And I was like, but I even noticed. I was like, I think it's just sprained. So I kind of sat out the first couple minutes of practice. And then my mom comes and looks at it, and she's like, "That's not sprained," because you could like see like a big ass bump.
Yeah, that was like when I got hit by the truck.
Oh my God.
My friend, and he was like,
"You talk about this every time."
Well, you brought up the wrist thing. I was just saying when I looked at my friend's wrist, I was like, "Dude, that is so broken." I'm moving on.
That season for football was terrible. Everyone got injured. A kid broke his thumb. Oof. Yeah, we threw a long bomb to him and just crack back. And then I broke my wrist, and then a kid came with a broken arm to the start of the season. Oh, no. And someone hurt their like ankle, so they were out for a bit. And then someone else broke a finger, I think, or sprained a finger. Oh, really? Yeah, it was awful. It was an awful season. Awful football.
Man.
Football's awful.
Okay. I'm still blanking on an embarrassing moment, so we're going to come back to it. Talk about friends you've made over social media or acting. I don't know. LOL. I've actually made quite a few friends over TikTok.
Over TikTok?
So shout out to Bria, if you're listening to the podcast, from Australia.
We'll get you on soon.
You actually, one of her, she responded to this. She said, when am I going to be on the podcast? So Bria, the answer to that question is not this episode, but maybe next episode or sometime in the future.
We should definitely have a lot of people on. If anyone wants to be on the podcast, just hit us up.
Because what we want to do is like get like people on the pod. Like we can't necessarily get you in physically, but we definitely could do like we could video call you on Instagram, which is something like so that's what we want to do. So basically, anyone, I'm thinking about getting some of my like fellow new TikTok friends and other people who want to come and chat for a little bit on the podcast. Definitely open to it. We wanted to start the first few episodes without guests, and then just to kind of get into it, and then start inviting guests on.
You know, I've actually made a bunch of friends. Well, again, when I did Musically, but really they it's like it's a different feeling when you make friends over the internet, because I don't know. It's almost I don't know. It's really nice because it's almost like distance from your real life.
They're
kinda
not
way,
involved in your real life drama.
which is nice.
I agree. I've made
And
like I said,
I have friends that I still talk to this day from Musical.ly. So I've been friends with some of them for like 2-3 years now.
right, exactly.
And it's insane because I still talk to them. And like, even if we don't talk as much, like they're still in my life, which is nice. I also made a bunch of friends from Minecraft. Not gonna lie.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I still
I
talk
never
to a
made any
couple of them.
Minecraft friends.
But I used to be on the server, which was like a role play server. It wasn't like a role, like the cringy role play server. It was like it was called Lords of Minecraft, so it was just like a medieval server. So it wasn't really like role play, but it was cool. And I used to like sit in like TeamSpeak, which a bunch of people pre-Discord.
Oh my god, I remember TeamSpeak.
Pre-Discord.
I did TeamSpeak. Oh my god.
Yeah, pre-Discord
I remember
stuff.
that.
I used to sit in there and then we kind of moved into D&D. I used to play D&D with those guys. I played D&D with a bunch of Irish kids. I basically faked an Irish accent at one point. Not really, but like I like started to develop like an Irish accent, not particularly an accent, but I started using all their lingo because I talked to them constantly.
Yeah.
And I also ruined my sleep schedule because they'd have D&D campaigns at their time, so it would be like 4 a.m. my time.
Because they're like 6 hours ahead of us.
I think it's 8 or something. I don't remember. Maybe it's
I've got a
6.
friend from Ireland. She's only 6 hours ahead.
I don't know.
Yeah, I've made lots of. I mean, I just made like. Yeah, I talk to people all the time from TikTok, so it's pretty great. Like you just, I don't know, it's weird. And I also have friends not from TikTok, but they live down in the States because we're from Canada, so they're way down there. Shout out to my Florida friends.
I have a bunch of friends from Florida.
I know everyone's from Florida apparently.
Yeah, everyone I meet is from Florida or North Carolina.
Oh really? Maybe the rest of the United States is just
they don't
vacant.
Yeah, there's like 5 people.
Except for Minneapolis and Fargo. I've been to those 2 places, and I can vouch.
I have a friend in Alabama
that there are
too.
people. But have you ever been to Alabama and seen them? So do you know they're actually from Alabama?
Well, that's true. Maybe
I can vouch that people live in Fargo and Minneapolis. I can't vouch for anything else. And you said, but you haven't even seen them there.
Yeah,
so
I wouldn't know.
I think Fargo and Minneapolis are the only places people live.
I think that's actually the only place people don't live.
Everything else is just wilderness. Conspiracy theory. I have a whole lot of things you're saying. Talk about conspiracy theories. I just made a new one.
I went to Fargo a while ago, and it's so dead. Like it was a tourist town, and since the Canadian dollar went down, it's so dead.
Yeah.
I bet a lot of those kind of touristy towns are kind of dead now.
Yeah, I agree. Money or knowledge? Knowledge, because I could use the.
I'm
knowledge.
here in my garage with my.
Here in my garage. Knowledge, because hear me out. I could use my knowledge to get money.
Loopholes. Or you can use your money to get knowledge.
I'm not gonna. How am I gonna buy knowledge?
Well, you could just go pay for university. School. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's you don't necessarily learn it. Like you could be really terrible at school.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
But like if I pick knowledge, you're like guaranteed like instant knowledge. I feel like that's what it's like a genie giving you instant knowledge. I would use the knowledge and then get super smart, invent something, and make a crap load of money off of it.
That's a fair point.
That's my answer. Diana says, "Feature me, OMG." Diana, we will get you on. Like we said earlier, we'll get you on the podcast. Best hat you've ever worn?
What is that?
Oh, I could talk about that. That's a good one. Best hat you've ever worn? The hat that I wear in almost all of my TikToks, 4L squared.
I used to wear like in grade 3-4, I used to wear fedoras.
Oh, I love fedoras.
I was a fedora kid.
I am a fedora
Milady.
kid as well. I have, like I talked about in the last episode, when I was in my vacation dad outfits in Greece when I went to Europe. I have a Italian fedora. It's made out of straw. I got it off this island off the coast of Italy. It's pretty cool. But also that hat and then my crappy. It's actually not a baseball cap. It looks like a baseball cap because it's a flat cap that I bent. And that's the hat that I wear all the time.
Oh, I always bend my flat caps because I don't like. I used to like flat caps.
They were like a
thing. They kind of just look stupid.
Now they look stupid. Baseball caps are the way to go.
Basically, it's called showing off your forehead for some reason.
Because when we were like 13, everyone had the flat caps, and if you wore a baseball cap, you were like a loser.
Yeah, exactly.
But now it's flipped. Baseball caps are the cool ones that everyone wears.
I just bend. I actually prefer the bend because I like the trucker hat kind of look.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had someone. Okay, I have some weird questions. Okay, I had someone ask us, where can you see yourselves in 5 to 10 years? That's a big one.
That's an interesting question, and it's giving me a panic attack because I'm going into university, and that's a very relevant question for me right now.
Oh yeah.
Where do I see myself in 5 to 10 years? If all goes well in university, I would have some sort of research job as doing some science
Well, I
stuff.
mean, that would only be a year after your degree, though.
If I do the full thing, well,
Yeah.
but I'd be doing a little bit of work in between. So like somewhere, either finishing university with like a master's or something, something like that. in
University
sciences.
takes up so much. School takes up so much of your life.
It's true. It really does.
insane.
It's crazy. Otherwise, if that doesn't happen, my other ideal career would be acting or some sort of filmmaking
Content.
or video making, internet content making. One like either if I'm working in film or doing internet stuff or any kind of acting or filming and anything along in that kind of region.
I mean, for me in a perfect world, I'd be doing music because that's what I love. But stuff like that's like such a gamble. Like it's not even.
Oh, I know.
It's not even talent based at some points. Like, pieces of it is all talent based, but really it's all luck. Like it's just like
Oh, I
getting
know.
something, getting
'Cause
something
you-
on the For You page to get 20,000 likes.
TikTok is a great
Yeah,
example.
like it's just all luck, and I don't know. I really if that doesn't work out, I want to go into like politics. Like I want to do like political science in school.
Okay, yeah.
So I'll probably be. So maybe I'll be doing that.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, I've got like two ideas which are very different. I've got a very
Yeah.
like logical, like
Yeah, same,
scientific
yeah.
side where I want to go do this, and then I also have my like creative artsy side. I want to go do film and acting and content
I
creating
mean,
and writing.
the good
and
thing about the
directing.
music stuff and like acting and all that is you can do that on the side because it's not like
Oh, for sure. That's what I'm gonna
Yeah.
do. Like, I mean, obviously, I have to put so much time into doing sciences because it's so like demanding. So it's gonna be my main thing, and I'm gonna have to do my arts as a side thing. But it's still something I definitely want to do. My drama teacher hates me for going into sciences, and lots of people are very surprised that I'm going into sciences. Lots of like all my parents, friends
not
that they talk
surprised. I'm
to,
not surprised
they're
at
like, "Oh yeah, he's going into university for sciences," and they're like, "Oh really? I totally thought he would be like." I remember my aunt. We told her that I was like last year. We were like, "Yeah, I'm going to university for sciences," and she was like, "Oh, I totally thought you were gonna be like a producer." Like, of all things, a producer. Like,
Yeah.
I'd rather be acting or filming or something. Anyways,
I'm not
people are very surprised. My drama teacher hates me for not going into like film school, but I keep reassuring her I'm doing it as a side thing, and it's gonna always be something that I want to do.
Yeah.
Anyways, what else do we have here? There was a good what was the one you pointed at? Oh, future of human civilization / solar system colonization.
What?
This is a big topic, and I'm gonna condense it into a couple sentences. This stuff is interesting to me. Where are we gonna go? Because first of all, the
Human
Earth is dying.
overpopulation and stuff.
The Earth is dying, you guys. I mean, we can. I think we can save it. I think it's possible if we really do it.
I mean,
but
watch Black
in-
Mirror. You can make fake bees.
the thing is like I feel like at one point or another we might have to leave the planet, or even if we don't have to, we still may
Want
spread
to,
out.
yeah.
And like some people, you have colonies that stay on Earth and colonies that move to
Yeah.
like Mars and those kind of things. I definitely think it's super
Isn't
interesting.
Mars the only inhabitable?
The one that's close enough to us. That well, even then, isn't like Mars gets super cold at night, and there's no oxygen.
Yeah,
So
well,
like
okay.
you have to live there in like a different way.
I mean, it's
but,
inhabitable though, like to the point where.
well, yes, yeah, we could
Yeah.
potentially live there, in a different way. But I'm definitely interested in like just the concept of like what's out there, like
Aliens.
if there's definitely aliens. I can almost say without
Area
a doubt.
51 meme.
Area 51. Oh god, people are telling me to talk about Area 51 as well.
That's such a meme. I don't even.
People, you might die, but if that's what you're into, please storm Area 51. I want to know what happens.
Yeah. It's just an air base. Like it's not.
Yeah,
Isn't it just like a training ground?
something like that.
Well, we think
Testing.
That's
That's
what,
what we
it is.
think. That's what they tell us. Anyways, there's a good video. This is in Area 51, but this is about the future of this like the universe. It's called a time lapse of the future. Go check it out if you have a half hour to spare. It's a long video. It's half an hour long, but it basically is like all theoretical because obviously we don't know, but it's all kind of astrophysics and like what astrophysicists theorize will happen till like the end of time. And yes, that is a thing where it starts from 2019 and it progressively gets faster and faster and faster till you're in like the trillionth year in the future to where the end of time is, which is basically when nothing else is left and there's just emptiness, so time is irrelevant. So we do reach like the end of time. But the cool thing about that really kind of scared me was that the point where where the point in the universe where life actually exists in the entire. I'm gonna put my phone down for a sec. If you're watching on YouTube, if this is the entire timeline from the Big Bang when the universe starts to the time when time is irrelevant, life exists for this much.
Yeah, like a fraction.
It's like 0.000, and you have like 100 or like a million zeros, like 0.001. That fraction of the entire lifespan of the universe is when life is actually able to exist. Other than that, it's like there's no stars, so places can't be warm enough for life. So it's such a tiny fraction that's so scary that like think about like how lucky we are to like exist right when we do in the entire. It's crazy. Anyways, it gets so crazy. Go watch that video. It's super cool. It's called Time Lapse of the Future.
I got really into science for a while because I did I remember last year I got like 100% on my like final exam because we didn't have exams last year in grade 9 for some reason. We had like it was like 2 exams and 2 final projects because for some reason at our school they did it so that they unsemesterized grade 9.
Oh.
So yeah, it was stupid.
Yeah, grade 9 is a little weird now.
It was awful. But I did a project because you had to pick your topic. So I did mine on dark matter and dark energy. And my I made a 15-minute video on dark matter and dark energy. My teacher didn't get it. So he's just like, you look like you know what you're talking about. Nice job. To give me like 100, like 98 sick. Or something. But that stuff's insane because it was talking about like the forever expansion of the universe and how the universe every day expands actually faster.
Yeah,
so it continues.
It's exponential,
yeah.
We
just went on a science ramble.
That was good. I'm actually kind of liking this episode. Anyways, it's going well. We've got a little bit of time left, another like 6-ish minutes. No, a little bit more than that.
We have time for more.
This one's just kind of a funny one. We'll get away from this very like saddening existential crisis, like thoughts of the end of the universe and how we exist in such a small pocket of time. Let's move on to birthday cake.
Okay.
Shout out to my boy Trooper. We had this conversation before and he brought it up here, so I'm going to talk about it on the podcast. I have a very firm standing on this. And
how does birthday cake?
Birthday cake flavored things, how do they exist if there's multiple different like birthday cakes?
Yeah.
My simple response was that sure, you can have any cake you want as your birthday cake, but if you like the OG birthday cake is vanilla.
Yeah.
It's just it's vanilla with sprinkles. That's how birthday cake flavor is a thing. It's just vanilla. That's all it is. It's just
birthday
a fancy
cake
way.
Timbits are fire.
I don't like birthday cake Timbits.
You're wrong.
You know what's good? The limited time ones that they had for a while was double Timbits. They taste like coffee.
That's pretty cool. I didn't have any.
Double Timbits at Tim Hortons. Oh, Canada.
That sounds pretty sick.
Donut holes if you're not from here, I guess, because that's what they call them, right?
Oh, yeah.
Donut holes?
Maybe.
If you're American or anywhere else, I think it's donut holes. But it's Timbits at Tim Hortons up here in Canada.
Carter, I have one. This one's a big debate we've had. Is water wet?
Let me tell you a little story. Water is not wet.
Oh, okay.
We need to. I could go off. We could actually. This could take us to the end of the podcast, but let's try to keep it in like a minute to.
Let's just go a bit over. I want to keep. Let's just finish all these questions. Okay. Let's just go over.
Water is not wet. What is your stance on that? Just your one sentence. Is it yes or no?
Water's wet.
Dude.
I don't want to go into it.
This is like when was this a thing? This was like last year, right?
Yeah.
Like last school year.
Mm-hmm.
No, water's not wet because hear me out. The definition of wet is when something is saturated with or has water on it. So
but doesn't water have water on it?
You can't put water on water.
Well, there is water on water.
No, water is just water. Like when if water is on, like, say you spill water on the table and you pour water on.
What would you describe water as?
What?
What would you describe?
Water is just water.
But that's.
If you have water spilt on the table and you pour water on it, is the water more wet now? Like, have you made the water any more wet than it previously was?
I mean, I don't think so.
No, you've made the table more wet. You can't physically, like, if you can give me a scenario that, like, logically and I can comprehend that you've made the water more wet, which I don't even think you could, like, how, I just don't know how you would do that. If you could do that, then I might believe that water is wet.
This debate has hurt me. Like, we've gotten so many.
This is how.
Actually, funny story. My friend D'Angelo's probably listening, but he when we did this debate, it switched to him. I don't know how I got there. I wasn't there for it, but my friends told me they had a debate where he claimed the Earth is alive. Exactly. That facial expression is exactly how we felt. And he tried debating us that the Earth is alive.
No, I feel like that is on the same train of thought is water wet.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Like the Earth is
if you,
alive.
Like it
'cause
doesn't
has
seem like it,
trees
but when
in
you
it.
think about it, it is the same. It is the same concept because like the Earth itself isn't alive. It has living things on it, which is actually is the same argument that I have for why water is not wet. Water itself isn't wet, but it makes things wet, right? Like you put water on. If I pour a bucket of water on you, like I've made like your clothes are now wet, right? But you don't make water wet. So that's why I think like the definition for wet is that it has water on it. So like I don't think you can make water wet. That's my
Pull more questions because I think we should stop this before people get mad at us. Okay, I have one. Someone asked me, how do you overcome the lack of motivation when writing music? I don't actually. When I write music, I don't overcome the lack of motivation because I always have the motivation to, but sometimes I just can't. Like it's really hard sometimes. Like the past month or so, I just can't. I've tried. Like I'll sit down, I have a chord progression, I'll go. Just can't think of anything because you need to have like almost a thing in your mind. Like you have to have like a time. Like I find when I'm super overly happy, like in summer I'm like good because there's like nothing going on. And then, like, I'm always, like, happy and chill. And then I can't think of anything. Because I don't want to write, like, a song that's, like, chilling with my homies. Like, that's going to be that's so lame. But, yeah. Let's do, like, one or two more questions. We have a couple more time.
Yeah. Okay, so we have, like, 2 questions left before we end it. Because our camera's going to die, so we got to actually move on. One here was, how has your TikTok fame influenced you? Simple answer, it hasn't because I'm not famous. I'm semi-popular on TikTok. It's fun to do. I don't know if it's necessarily I don't know how to answer that question. Hasn't really influenced me. Anyways, last thing, this is just one word, please hold. That's referring to the movie that Ethan and I wrote. And you can find it on YouTube at my other channel, Carter Heinz Cinematography, where I kind of do more like movie stuff. Like this channel is for like stupid videos and podcast. Other channels for like serious like short films and stuff. So go check it out. It's called Please Hold. It's a mockumentary. It's sort of like The Office. We did it with our acting studio. It was written by me and Ethan, and then we basically created it for all of me and Ethan and our friends in our acting class. We kind of created characters for each of us and then made like not really an Office parody, but it's the same sort of idea as The Office, like a mockumentary. Camera following around a group of people
in an
office. So it's like The Office. If you like The Office or Parks and Rec, Modern Family, those kind of like kind of shows, you might enjoy this one. Please hold at my channel, Carter Heinz Cinematography. And I think that just about wraps up. There's a lot of people asking about conspiracy theories. Next episode, I'm going to do some research about conspiracy theories, and we'll do a conspiracy theory heavy episode.
Yeah, okay.
It'll be a special.
Okay, well, thanks a lot for listening, guys.
Thank you. I think this was a really good episode. This is my favorite episode so far. We had a lot of stuff to talk about. Anyways, thanks for listening. Check out Ethan's channel. Link will be in the description. Check us out on TikTok, because that's where we also do lots of content. Carter Ketchup and Ethan Lyric. And then, check us out on those places, and we will see you guys in the next podcast.
Hey, thanks, guys.
See you later.
Bye.